Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Hot Springs Village Inside Out the Radio, shall we say weekend edition, here on KVRE, our wonderful media partner, streaming live on 92.9 and over the internet at kvre.com. Coming to you from the beautiful shores of Lake DeSoto, we have a story for you will not soon forget. Doc Washburn, the number one rated DJ, talk DJ, in Little Rock was, shall we say, let go because of some of his choices. You know, choices like choosing to not take the vaccine. It's more complicated than it sounds, I promise. If you think you have an opinion on this matter, tune in just a little while and you'll hear, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story, and you will be thoroughly entertained. What a fun guy. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Let's start with some great music. You
can put her in a new truck, put her in a big house, dress her up, put $1 million in her bank account. But you're still gonna be down to earth. No, you can't take the small town country girl out of her. She's hillbilly, banjo, hip-hop, rap, oak on the fire, ribs on the rack. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, drink 'em till the yeti runs dry. Cut off shorts and a camo cap, yee-haw, holler from the deck out back. Enough to make the neighbors running high. She can't keep her backwoods in check. Hashtag redneck. She's got a '99 jersey and a whitetail rack hanging on the wall by his coveralls in his fishing shack. He's got a pimped out tractor, pontoon in a slip, and a Talladega NASCAR race on his bucket list. He's hillbilly, banjo, hip-hop, rap, oak on the fire, ribs on the rack. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, drink 'em till the yeti runs dry. Boots and shorts and a camo cap, yee-haw, holler from the deck out back. Enough to make the neighbors running high. He can't keep his backwoods in check. Hashtag redneck. Well, they're hillbilly, banjo, hip-hop, rap, oak on the fire, ribs on the rack. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, drink 'em till the yeti runs dry. Boots and shorts and a camo cap, yee-haw, holler from the deck out back. Enough to make the neighbors running high. If you can't keep your backwoods in check, well, if you can't keep your backwoods in check, you're a hashtag redneck. Hashtag redneck. Hashtag redneck.
Oh my mercy, what a problem. The girl can't keep her redneck in check. Hashtag redneck. Now, for those of you that are curious, I want to let you know that is hashtag REDNEK, not the CK, the fancy city version. That's my Mr. Gord Bamford, and I think that is a funny song, as you'll hear here on Hot Springs Village Inside Out the Radio Edition, coming up with Mr. Doc Washburn in a few minutes. But before then, we're going to hear Call Me I don't know, maybe just a little, by Miss Carly Rae Jepsen.
I threw a wish in the well. Don't ask me, I'll never tell. I looked to you as it fell, and now you're in my way. I trade my soul for a wish, pennies and dimes for a kiss. I wasn't looking for this, but now you're in my way. Your stare was holding, ripped jeans, skin was showing. Hot night, wind was blowing. Where you think you're going, baby? Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. It's hard to look right at you, baby, but here's my number, so call me maybe. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. And all the other boys try to chase me, but here's my number, so call me maybe. You took your time with the call, I took no time with the fall. You gave me nothing at all, but still you're in my way. I beg and borrow and steal at first sight, and it's real. I didn't know I would feel it, but it's in my way. Your stare was holding, ripped jeans, skin was showing. Hot night, wind was blowing. Where you think you're going, baby? Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. It's hard to look right at you, baby, but here's my number, so call me maybe. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. And all the other boys try to chase me, but here's my number, so call me maybe. Before you came into my life, I missed you so bad. I missed you so bad. I missed you so, so bad. Before you came into my life, I missed you so bad. And you should know that I missed you so, bad. It's hard to look right at you, baby, but here's my number, so call me maybe. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. And all the other boys try to chase me, but here's my number, so call me maybe. Before you came into my life, I missed you so bad. I missed you so bad. I missed you so, so bad. Before you came into my life, I missed you so bad. And you should know that, so call me maybe.
That was Carly Rae. Call Me. Maybe. I don't know. I like that song. What a lot of fun. Lot of fun. Well, Mr. Steve Hawley is going to enlighten us on the things you do when you're a dignified young man and you've had your heart broken and you don't know what to do. So I will let him tell us what to do in case of, shall we say, heartbreak.
She said I need some time to find myself. I need a little space to think. And maybe we should start seeing other people. And baby, things are moving way too fast for me. So I picked up what was left of my pride, and I put on my walking shoes, and I got up on that high road, and I did what any gentleman would do. I got a brand new girlfriend. We went and jumped off the deep end, flew out to LA for the weekend, spent the whole day lying on the beach wearing nothing but a smile, playing kissy, kissy, smoochy, smoochy, talking mushy, mushy about nothing. Man, I think I'm onto something, because I feel just like a kid again. I got a brand new girlfriend. I love it when she calls me Buttercup. She laughs and says I left the toilet seat up. She pops the top for me a cold beer and says my buddy's always welcome here. When I get hungry, she takes me out. I'm riding shotgun like a Shih Tzu hound. My tail's a wagging, my tongue's hanging out. It makes me wanna shout, I got a brand new girlfriend. We went and jumped off a deep end, flew out to LA for the weekend. Spent the whole day lying on the beach, wearing nothing but a smile, playing kissy kissy, smoochy smoochy, talking mushy mushy about nothing. Man, I think I'm on to something. You know I feel just like a kid again. I got a brand new girlfriend. Woo! Cute, cute, cute. She likes to write our names in the sand. She's hearing wedding bells and making plans. She's gonna hang around a while, I guess. And she hadn't even told me she loves me yet. I got a brand new girlfriend. We went and jumped off a deep end. We fly to LA for the weekend. Spend the whole day lying on the beach, wearing nothing but a smile, playing kissy kissy, smoochy smoochy, talking mushy mushy about nothing. Man, I think I'm on to something. You know I feel just like a kid again. I got a brand new girlfriend. She makes me feel just like a kid again. I got a brand new girlfriend.
Dennis Simpson here, Hot Springs Village, Inside Out. I don't know about you people in the listening audience, but if anybody ever told me that things were moving a little too fast and they needed some time by themselves, typically, number one, they weren't going to be by themselves. Number two, that was basically a au revoir, get out of here kind of thing. Don't let the door hit you in the booty thing. But you know, I think that this gentleman handled it correctly. Mr. Steve Holly, he tells us, well, you getting a brand new girlfriend. It's pretty simple, Went off for the weekend. Hey, it's a lot of fun to have everybody here today. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend from the beautiful shores of Hot Springs Village.
D&D Village Properties offers only lakefront homes in beautiful Hot Springs Village. Just looking for a couple's getaway or a whole family with lots of room and fun for the kids? All D&D Village property units are located on Lake DeSoto and come with hot tub, kayaks, lakefront view, access, and they're all pet friendly. Starting at $100 a night, D&D Village properties can offer exceptional sunsets along the lake with breathtaking scenery, amazingly dark skies, and truly peaceful silence to completely relax you and your family. Our motto at D&D Village Properties is we love seeing families make great memories. Come join us and see why. With over 1,650 five-star reviews, you'll see why we have so many great guests return year after year. Visit ddvillageprop.com for booking information and any questions you may have. Again, that's ddvillageprop.com. We are D&D Village Properties.
little bit of Catching the Sun with one of my favorite groups, Spyro Gyro. What a beautiful song for a beautiful weekend day. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday or Sunday listening to the fine folks here at KVRE Hot Springs Village Inside Out. I tell you what, we're not going to hold you back any longer. It's time to hear from Mr. Doc Washburn, who now has a podcast. He is no longer on what we call terrestrial radio here in the Village and Little Rock area, but truly a delight to listen to. Encourage you to pick up his podcast and listen when you will hear the funny things this man says and some very insightful material.
Hey, thanks for having me, Dennis. I appreciate it. Good to be here.
It has been a hoot. Tell me, in the years that you've been on the radio, tell me something crazy somebody said to you on the radio.
So when I was doing my first radio talk show, I did mornings in Savannah, Georgia. And this was 97, 98.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any kind of a tape delay.
No dump button.
No button to dump a caller if the caller said something that was inappropriate for a family show. And so there was a story in the news. A radical liberal U.S. Democratic congresswoman out of Atlanta named Cynthia McKinney had been invited to the Clinton White House for a state dinner with the Italian prime minister. And when she rolled up in her limo with her staffer driving to get past the gate to get into the White House grounds, I guess the Secret Service person at the little guardhouse there didn't recognize her and was addressing the young white staffer driving as the congresswoman and made them wait over an hour. She also had a constituent, a Pakistani American businessman from Atlanta and his daughter. They made them wait over an hour, and they ruined it. Basically, they didn't get to the dinner on time. And so Cynthia McKinney was just raising the roof, freaking out in the pages of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the big daily newspaper there, about the racism, about how she'd been disrespected. And I think Vernon Jordan, a guy who was a good friend of President Clinton and trying to smooth things over, he happened to be she was African-American, he was African-American. And she's like, I don't want to hear from Vernon Jordan. I want an apology from Bill Clinton himself. She's just freaking out. 24 hours later, she was going off on the media for, making a mountain out of a molehill and blowing this thing up. And she was fine with everything. And so I said on the radio that obviously somebody had called her. I didn't know if it was Vernon Jordan or, James Carville or somebody, but somebody had called her and told her to sit down and shut up, and it got her mind right. Because now all of a sudden she was blaming the media for blowing up something that she had blown up. Now, we had callers to the morning show there in Savannah on a regular basis. And there was an African-American female, Betty from the West Side, who hated Bill Clinton, hated all things Democrat. She was the only Republican black caller I think I had in the year and a half I did mornings there at WBMQ in Savannah. And so she called up and she said basically that Bill Clinton had no use for a woman like Cynthia McKinney, had no use really for black folks at all. As far as she's concerned, she thought Bill Clinton was a racist, but he had no use for someone like Cynthia McKinney, unless, to put it diplomatically, she was willing to offer him the same sort of services that Monica Lewinsky did, except that Betty from the West Side was very graphic and used a particular term that even they talked about Monica Lewinsky on the radio was a term they didn't use. And I'm looking across, the other side of the studio at my producer, who is also doubled as my news guy. This is the infant stages of talk radio in Savannah, Georgia, and he was just laughing, and I'm like, so I I hung up on her. I said, Betty, thanks so much for your call. Always appreciate hearing from you. However, there are certain terms, of course, we can't use on the radio, especially in a family program like this one. And I'm afraid you've hit the jackpot today. So next time you call, think about what you're going to say and the terms that you want to use, and you got to edit yourself, et cetera, et cetera. So
and understand that we don't have a dump button.
Well, that's the kind of thing you don't really want to announce.
No, yeah.
So, KRN in Little Rock was my 27th radio station.
27th? Really?
Yeah, I got on radio in 1977 because I love music. I couldn't imagine anything more boring just listen to a guy talk on the radio and not play records, till I eventually became the boring guy talking on the radio and not playing records. But you get to a certain point in your career. Again, it started in 1977.
Right.
You get a certain point after you've been at, X amount of stations that you're kind of like, well, I've seen it all now. And then you get to the next station. You're like, oh, wait a minute. I had not seen it all. Oh, my goodness. I couldn't have imagined this, because there are different things and way things are done differently from one station to the next. But then there are certain things that are always pretty much the same until you get to station number 15 or station number 22 or station number 27. And it's like, wait a minute, they're doing that differently? Oh, I never would have imagined.
Who would have imagined? Who would imagine that in Savannah, that particular phrase would be acceptable, but it's probably not acceptable anywhere, right? On the radio, of course, right?
No. You think about it. When Rush Limbaugh got into radio, even when Rush Limbaugh got into talk radio, he never thought he would be discussing the issue that was all over the news media about Monica Lewinsky and Bill Clinton. Mm-hmm. And yet, there was a term that, of course, is a vulgarity that you don't use.
Sure.
Betty from the West Side, Savannah, she wasn't thinking in those terms.
No barriers.
She made life difficult for us that morning. And apparently the boss wasn't listening, because I didn't get any feedback after I got off the air. I probably went into the boss's office and said, hey, can we get a delay or something? Because, we had a little issue. It's been years, so I don't remember that part. But
unbelievable.
Yeah.
What a great story. And for those of you that don't know, Doc Washburn, Doc, tell the story, if you would, about the fine folks at Sirius Radio, because that's a fascinating story. And I want to make a disclaimer here, and I do this with everybody. When we have anybody who is political is not exactly the word, but has a bias, and not even a bias, has a viewpoint. What the hell's wrong with a viewpoint these days? But my point being, we are not endorsing any particular viewpoint. Matter of fact, if you have an opposing viewpoint, call me. Let's talk. We'll put you on. That'll be great. The point being, Doc, this is what you do, and you've done it for how many years?
I got into radio in 1977. I got into talk radio in 1997.
Wow. Now, and let's cut to the chase, which one little detail that if somebody said, well, this Doc Washburn guy, what? So many times Mark Levine would fill in for Rush, right?
I think before he got his own show, he did fill in for Rush a few times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Boy, that's going way back.
Yeah, but let me get this straight. So who filled in for Mark Levine now? Remind me of that.
I filled in for Mark Levine.
Yeah.
I was blessed to have been asked to fill in for him 11 times, and I would be still filling in for him if it weren't for the fact that he's syndicated by Westwood One, which is owned by Cumulus Media, which is the company that fired me.
Oh, and let's get into that story, because, I can tell the behavior, how horrible you would be to be fired, right? Come on.
Oh, yeah. The behavior was this. The CEO of the tragically hip Cumulus Media, in about August 8th, I think it was 2021, did a video for all employees saying how delighted she was that the majority of Cumulus employees were vaccinated, But she was angry at the ones who weren't. And so, subsequently, she gave everybody 2 months to become fully vaccinated. And if you decided not to go along with the this new edict from the company, you would forfeit your employment. And from what I'm told, my program director and general manager even went to bat for me with corporate, like, hey, man, this Washburn fellow's got great ratings, making us a lot of money, and corporate's like, yeah, we don't care. We don't care. Vaccine mandate is across the board, no exception. Well, I say no exceptions. They reached out to me when I said, I've got a religious exemption, and they sent me all kinds of questions, which are really odd, like, who's your spiritual leader? And I said, well, I mean, I'm a member of a church. We got a couple of pastors and some elders, but I don't really think of them as being a spiritual leader. I'm not in a cult or something. I'm not sure what you're driving at here. And they wanted to know what my spiritual leader's standpoint on vaccinations was. My religious exemption was because I'd read up on the vaccinations, and as with Merck's varicella vaccine, which came out in the early 90s, they officially announced as part of their readouts and stuff that they used a little bit of aborted fetal tissue. And I'm like, I've never spoken to anyone at my church in leadership about what they think about vaccines. However, since we're all Christians, we're pro-life, so there you go. But I did say when they turned down my religious exemption, I said, well, look, here's the deal. I've been doing the show from home since March 2021, and I've already seen how the vaccinated people look down on unvaccinated employees and treat them differently. Mm-hmm. So why not just let me keep on doing the show from remote, by remote? As a matter of fact, you've got morning shows of music stations in other markets for Cumulus Media who've been doing the show by remote for years, and they just ignored that request. They didn't even dignify it with a response. So here's the funny thing.
I'm glad there's humor in here somewhere, because I don't know that I'm seeing it yet, Doc.
Yeah. So my friend Stephen Finnegan, who was my regular fill-in guy, he was my go-to guy when I was on vacation or whatever.
Yeah.
He was asked by the program director to do the afternoon drive talk show on News Radio 1029 KRN while he was looking for a new guy. And he told me that he was going to tell him no because he was outraged they'd fired me. I said, well, yeah, but here's the deal. The program director, Toby, is a friend of ours. It's not his fault I lost my job. Yeah. He's really going to be between a rock and a hard place, as is the guy who produced my show. So if you wouldn't mind considering, filling in the meantime, I'd appreciate it. It's a personal favor to me. And of course, Toby's kind of left in the lurch here. So, okay. All right. Okay. Well, I'll do that. So starting, I guess it was October 11th, 2021, Stephen Finnegan was doing afternoon drive, filling in and filled in until January. And it got to the point, after a while, he's like, Doc, can you give me an estimation how long this is going to take? I said, well, Steve, if you had a question about radio, I might be able to help you. But this has nothing to do with radio. If this is about radio, I'd still be doing the job. This has, because it was very difficult to find someone who would, A, agree to be vaccinated, and B, agree to move to Little Rock from wherever they were.
Mm-hmm. Is there some wokeness in here somewhere?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you look at the CEO and the board of directors of Cumulus Media, it all gives you the impression of New York City liberals who think that anything between the Hudson River and L.A. is like flyover country. That one of them worked in Senator Chris Dodd's office at one point, who was good buddies with Ted Kennedy. You're not going to find anybody on the board of directors of Cumulus Media who say worked for Rand Paul or Ted Cruz or something like that. So I think probably conservative talk radio is an embarrassment to the company, and they just, are willing to accept the money they make off of it.
Mm-hmm.
But to put it into context, under the previous CEO, they actually had Geraldo Rivera doing a nationally syndicated radio talk show.
Right.
And I heard it once before I got the job in Little Rock, before the new folks came in and canned Geraldo. And it sounded like I was eavesdropping on Geraldo sitting talking to some friends at a cafe outdoors somewhere in New York City. You could hear the birds chirping in the background. And it really sounded like I was eavesdropping on a private conversation. And so I remember one of my brothers, can't remember if it was a text or a tweet, but after Cumulus got rid of Geraldo, said, the poor guy, I think that he might have had a chance to make this national talk show work if anyone had actually told him that 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday, there's a microphone close to your face that's picking up the things you're saying. Because it really did sound like this guy has no idea he's on the radio. He's just talking to some friends at a cafe outside New York City. And we're like, wait a minute, what am I listening to here?
And did they spend any time putting content together on this? Is this just a microphone, open microphone in New York at a cafe, right?
Oh, I'm sure he talked about stuff in the news, but you know how people use the analogy of you're on the highway and traffic slows down and then you're rubbernecking too to look at the accident.
Right. Sure.
Okay, well, this is the opposite for me. I couldn't turn the radio off fast enough. So then, no, that was a wreck on the highway I didn't want to see.
It turned your head away from the project, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what. So life at Cumulus ended. And by the way, let me come down for my audience real quick. Our 5 mile high, 500-foot high view. And the bottom line is that I really don't care where you come down on vax one way or the other. I come down on the right that you have to make your own personal decision about your own personal body and not be fired over it. Right.
Right. Exactly.
Which is remarkable to me. Anyway, I will not even venture into the other side of that argument that if you were female and pregnant, yeah, let's move on down the road. But so after that, you decided to do what?
Well, so here's the deal. We had 2 months notice this was going to happen.
Right. And were they thinking you were going to back out? Because, you were making them big bucks. You were very, very well known region wide.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking because whenever the ratings would come out, well, let me back up a little bit. So Cumulus, at the end of 2019, the talk radio station in Little Rock was the only talk radio station in the whole nationwide chain that wasn't selling enough advertising to be able to afford to sign up Rush Limbaugh for another long-term deal.
Really?
So our new program director was told his first day on the job in middle of December 2019, oh, by the way, you got to find a replacement for Rush Limbaugh. He's like, wait, what?
Yeah, any day now. They're just laying about. I shall find 3 or 4 this morning and let you see which one they are.
Exactly. So they changed around some stuff there, and there was a radio station across town from us, that had talk radio programming that had never really, gotten any ratings or anything. And they wound up with Rush Limbaugh. And then about 3 months later, they decided to put their local guy who had been competing with me in afternoons. They put him on the morning show, and they put Sean Hannity on up against me. Now, Sean Hannity was the second most listened to radio talk show host in America. And God bless him, when Rush had to leave the airwaves for good, Sean by default became the most listened to radio talk show host in America.
Sure.
Every time the quarterly ratings came out, I was just beating him like a drum. I mean, he just couldn't get any traction in Little Rock, Arkansas. Live, he's on over 500 radio stations. And so whenever the ratings would come out, I would email the CEO and the corporate vice president of programming and say, hey, I just crushed Hannity again in the ratings. By the way, I'm available to be on multiple stations just in case, there's another market where you need help beating Sean Hannity.
Spread me around.
Right. Which is how things work in big radio companies. And every once in a while, I get a response from the CEO like a month or two later. Okay, thanks. I think the first time the corporate VP of programming forwarded it to the guy who's in charge of talk radio programming for the whole company, and never heard anything back again from him. So where was I going with this? What was the question again?
Oh, I was just talking about what did you do after termination?
Right. So I did that 6 quarters in a row, and they're like, yeah, we're going to get rid of you anyway. So I was talking to some friends, and I've got a music radio format that I think would make big bucks. I think radio is leaving a lot of money on the table. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and we're thinking about trying to get some investors together to buy a radio station, because there are a couple of radio stations that cover Little Rock, Arkansas, with very good signals, but don't have any ratings.
Mm-hmm.
So we were kind of kicking that around. And one day he said, well, why don't you think about maybe doing a podcast? And I said, well, I appreciate your confidence in my abilities, but I'm not sure I could get a good return on investment for local advertisers. And he said, why would it have to be local? And I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
So the interwebs, Al Gore created go across state lines these days? Oh.
They're still doing that? They're still doing that stuff?
Yeah, I felt like an idiot at that point. So 16 months into it, between our downloads and our daily listens, we're over 500,000. Yeah.
Doc, it has been a delight. We will see you next time. Okay, thanks, buddy.
Appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you.
You too. Thanks, bud.
Business owner, do you have a 10-year-old phone system? Well, let us tell you about Total Telco, the local Hot Springs Village telephone provider. Hate working with a multinational corporation that really doesn't care if you use them or not, who have one plan and it's designed to wrestle as much money out of your pocket as possible for as long as possible? Total Telco has great news. We offer free new phones. You heard that right. New color, HD quality, caller ID, voicemail, call forwarding, conferencing phones that sound great, 99.9% uptime that'll make you sound great to your clients for free. With a savings that you'll receive from signing up with Total Telco today, you can pay for completely new phones that'll make your life so much easier. Total Telco uses state-of-the-art cloud-based systems to make sure you never miss a call, even if your power is out. Our state-of-the-art cloud-based system will record your message and send you an email message of that missed call with the power out. Great prices, amazing quality, superior service. Total Telco of Arkansas. Reach us at 501-350-0227. Let us show you why the Beehive, Christ of the Hills Church, Woodlands Presbyterian, Granada Mexican Grill, Village Chiropractic, and over 300 locations are Total Telco customers. Again, call us today. It's Total Telco of Arkansas, 501-350-0227. Again, it's 501-350-0227. We are Total Telco of Arkansas.
Well, here I sit a high, getting ideas. Ain't nothing but a fool to live like this. Out all night and running wild. Woman sitting home with a month-old child. Dang me, dang me. They ought to take a rope and hang me. high from the highest tree. Woman, would you weep for me? One more. Just sitting around drinking with the rest of the guys. 6 rounds bought and I bought 5. Spent the groceries and half the rent, like $14 having 27 cents. Oh, dang me, they ought to take a rope and hang me high from the highest tree. Woman, would you weep for me? One more. They say roses are red and violets are purple, and sugar's sweet and so's maple syrup. And I'm the 7th out of 7 sons. My pappy was a pistol, I'm a son of a gun. I said, dang me, they ought to take a rope and hang me high from the highest tree. Woman, would you weep for me?
Dang me, they ought to take a rope and hang me high from the highest tree. Woman, won't you weep for me? In the immortal words of Mr. Roger Miller, dang me, from 1965. You know, you never know what you're going to hear on Hot Springs Village Inside Out Radio Edition. I encourage you to come visit us at hsvinsideout.com. Again, that's www.hsvinsideout.com. I know there are a lot of people listening who say, I'm never going to see a podcast or hear a podcast, and I don't know what that is, and I don't want a podcast player. That's fine. Just come to Hot Springs Village Inside Out Radio Edition, or hotspringsvillageinsideout.com, I should say. Rest your little mouse on the icon that is the one right there in the middle, and it'll give you the most recent episodes. The most recent 5 or 6 will be beneath that. If you go to the search button, you can then see hundreds of episodes that we've done. Everything from Bruce Westerman, Kelly Hale, Christy Bennett, Liz Robbins from the Garland County Historical Society, you name it. We have some great interviews there just for you. You don't have to subscribe to a podcast. You can just click and enjoy. But if you do like it, and you do hit follow, and you do give it a thumbs up, or you come to our Facebook page, Hot Springs Village Inside Out, our Facebook group, and join. You will see every episode when it's posted, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have. But for now, I think maybe Justin Timberlake needs to say something, but you can't say it alone. You probably need the award-winning Chris Stapleton, who, if I'm not mistaken, my friends, sang one of the all-time great versions of the national anthem the other day at the Super Bowl. So say something.
Everyone knows all about my direction, and in my heart somewhere I wanna go there, still I don't go there. Everybody says say something, say something, say something, say something, say something, and say something. I don't wanna get caught up in the rhythm of it, but I can't help myself. No, I can't help myself. No, no. Caught up in the middle of it. No, I can't help myself. No, I can't help myself. No, no, no. Caught up in the rhythm of it. Maybe I'm looking for something I can't have. I'm looking for something I can't have. Maybe I'm looking for something I can't have. Everyone knows all about my transgression. Still in my heart somewhere, there's melody tonight. I hear them call my name. Everybody says, say something, say something, say something, say something, say something, say something. I don't wanna get caught up in the rhythm of it, but I can't help myself. No, I can't help myself. No, no. Caught up in the middle of it. No, I can't help myself. No, I can't help myself. No, no, no. Caught up in the rhythm of it. Maybe I'm looking for something I can't have. Something I can't have. Maybe I'm looking for something I can't have. For something I can't. Maybe I'm looking for something I can't have. For something I can't have. Maybe I'm looking for something I can't have. For something I can't have. Sometimes the greatest way to say something is to say nothing at all. Sometimes the greatest way to say something is to say nothing at all. Sometimes the greatest way to say something is to say nothing, but I can't help myself. No, I can't help myself. No, no. Caught up in the middle of it. No, I can't help myself. No, I can't help myself. No, no, no. Caught up in the rhythm of it. Maybe I'm looking for something I can't have. Something I can't have. Maybe I'm looking for something I can't have. For something I can't. Maybe I'm looking for something I can't have. Looking for something I can't have. Maybe I'm looking for something I can't have. Looking for something I can't have. Sometimes the greatest way to say something is to say nothing at all. Sometimes the greatest way to say something is to say nothing at all. Sometimes the greatest way to say something is to say nothing.
What a song. Maybe I'm looking for something I can't have. Maybe I'm looking for something I can't have. Yeah, that may be all of us. Who knows? Well, that was Mr. Chris Stapleton, Mr. Justin Timberlake, and that's a fantastic video if you get a chance to take a look at that too. It's a wonderful, wonderful video. Upcoming, we've got one of my favorite guests. We're going to have Mr. James Taylor. He's going to tell us all about what it's like to be in Mexico.
Way down here, you need a reason to move. Feel a fool, running your stateside games. Lose your load, leave your mind behind, baby Jane. Oh, Mexico, you sound so simple, I just got to go. The sun's so hot, I forgot to go home. Guess I'll have to go now. Americana got the sleepy eye, but his body's still shaking like a live wire. Sleepy senorita with their eyes on fire. Oh, Mexico, it sounds so sweet with the sun sinking low. The moon so bright, like to light up the night, make everything alright. The folks back home don't want to talk on the phone. She gets a long letter, sends back a postcard.
have a question for you. What exactly happens to an hour every weekend on KVRE? Hot Springs Village Inside Out Radio Edition. I tell you what, it evaporates. We have great guests, interesting, fun songs, and then all of a sudden, it's just over. Wow. But I've got great news. The bottom line is, if you come to hotspringsvillageinsideout.com or Hot Springs Village Inside Out, the Facebook page, you'll be able to see or hear all these great shows and more. You can hear Doc Washburn. Unfortunately, as wonderful as Doc was, we had to trim about 15 minutes out of that show. If you think he's interesting now, man, you got to hang on for the ride. You got to hang on for the ride. I'll tell you this. From what I know, there's a lot of great things coming from Mr. Doc. It's going to be another fascinating year with him. I'm wishing him very well in his podcasting endeavors. And for those of you who listen on a regular occasion, I'd like to do a particular shout out to you. I was living in Southwest Little Rock in 1971, listening to Brother Howell on KLRA, and I told myself I wanted to be a radio DJ. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you I wanted to do this for 50 years. That is not an exaggeration. I remember hearing Brother Howell on the radio. He was entertaining. He was enlightening. He played great music. Just an interesting guy. And I remembered thinking, I want to be like that. And my parents, bless their soul, discouraged me for good reason. You know, you're going to have to sell all the time, and this is a tough business, and it's hard on your voice. And Brother Hal had lots of health issues, and they were right on every account. So I went ahead and made a livelihood in printing with them and in IT work. And now I've got time to have a radio program. I cannot express my sincere and deepest appreciation for y'all. I really can't. You know what I'd like with my lovely wife? One more day. You know what I'd like with this wonderful radio audience? One more day and one more week. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Last night I had a crazy dream. Wish was granted just for me. It could be for anything. I didn't ask for money or a mansion in Malibu. I simply wished for one more day with you. One more day, one more time, one more sunset, maybe I'd be satisfied. But then again, I know what it would do. Leave me wishing still for one more day with you. First thing I do is pray for time to crawl. I'd unplug the telephone, keep the TV off. I'd hold you every second, say a million I love yous. That's what I do with one more day with you. One more day, one more time, one more sunset, maybe I'd be satisfied. But then again, I know what it would do. Leave me wishing still for one more day with you. One more day, one more time, one one more sunset, maybe I'd be satisfied. But then again, I know what it would do. Leave me wishing still one more day.
Thanks for listening to Hot Springs Village Inside Out Radio Edition.